Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Donjo number 26AD-S-CW. This is a door reinforcing wraparound plate is what it is. This is used with the Schlage AD series locks, which is their current crop of online and offline electronic combination locks that are the replacements for the Pro 993, the 5596, the Cobra, the King Cobra, that whole crop of prior version of locks. They've migrated that all to the AD series, and there is a door reinforcing plate for the AD series, which is a relatively new lock, and here it is. So this has a lot of holes in it, but if you're familiar with your AD series lock, everything here makes sense, even this strange hole in the edge, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. Let's take a look at the dimensional properties of the 26AD. According to the extended description, it is 16-inch tall. Well, this is actually 16 and 9/16, and that it is 5-inch wide. Okay, about 5 1/8. It is 2 3/4 back set. Okay, and all of the other holes would be according to the template and outline of the unit. Top of the door to the center line of the 161 looks like it's about 10-inch. And there is a template down below which we'll take a look at in a moment. So this is the 26AD. This is the S, which means it's stainless steel. This is just a peel away protective film that you see here. Okay. Solid stainless with a brushed finish. Okay. The CW means commercial wrap. CW. They've had in the past an IW, which is an interior wrap. They could, never really explain the difference between the two. I suspect the IW may have been just a marketing sort of push, or the material may have been slightly thinner. But CW is, part of this part number. Just means it's a commercial wrap plate. It's just a 26AD, and then you specify the finish. The CW goes along with this part number whether or not you use it. Now let's switch to the screen view and let's take a look at some supporting documentation. Okay, so this is the item that we are here looking at, 26AD in an S finish. Classic wraparound plate for Schlage AD series locks. Does include fasteners, which I'll show you when we switch back to the camera view. For 1 3/4 thick doors. Here's our size, 5x16. We saw that it was a little bit taller. They say it's 22 gauge thick. Let's put our caliper on that and see what the caliper tells us. Yeah, 0.032. Yes, it does, at least with that paper film attached to it. Limited warranty 1 year. Sure. I'm not sure why there'd be a warranty on this. It's just a piece of steel that's been punched and bent. So anyway, when you buy one, we'll ship you one. Now, supporting documentation, we have our template, which is here. This will give you the layout of all of the holes that you can see here. And seeing that they have 16 and 5/8 on the template, I have gone back and updated the description, 16 and 5/8, so we see that throughout, although this measured 16 and 9/16. Okay, so all of the other holes are located here in terms of where you're going to need to see all that information. It does refer to the fact that they'll do this in 605 polished brass, 630 satin stainless steel, which is what we have here, and then a DU finish for a dark brown, dark bronze powder coat. They can probably do this in black powder coat as well. I know they can powder coat other items in black. I'm sure they can powder coat this in black since they're already powder coating it in dark browns. They can probably do this in an antique brass as well, which would be a 609 finish. They just don't list all those finishes on the template, and probably don't in the price book either, but they have the ability to do it. There's also a link to the product catalog, which is here. Now this is very helpful, and it's one of the primary sections out of the full Donjo product catalog, all of these wraparound plates. So there are several and many options of door reinforcing wraparound plates. for a variety of different standard configurations, single hole and double hole, different center to centers on those double holes, different back sets, different door thicknesses. They even have blank units should you just need to either blank off a lock prep or possibly prep your own. I have seen very unusual lock locations, large units, specific variants made for particular locks. Okay, as we continue to scroll through, more of the same, really. Variations on this. 26 AD, the one we're talking about here. More units for particular locks. So a very handy document that will allow you to review what's happening here exactly. They can also do many of their door wraps with a flat front rather than a mortised preparation in the edge. And this would be a case where you are, just needing to install that wrap over the edge of the door. Perhaps there's been no damage at all to the edge of the door, and you're going to still have the ability to screw into the edge of the wood. Okay, you might want a flat front for that, although the mortised style wrap is far more common. The mortised edge is when you have substantial damage to the edge of the door, and you're going to attach the latch bolt right to the hardware itself, and then that will all go on the door. You still have the latch bolt attached to the door in this instance, and this will come with very long screws that will go through this area here to allow you to get it installed. Very typical. The mortised edge is going to be the one that you probably bump into. Now, there's also a link below this video to the Schlage Master Template Index when it comes to their AD series locks. I place it here just for further information so that you can compare what you're getting. That strange hole in the edge is for the door position switch on those locks that have those. But this wrap definitely has the prep on the edge for the door position switch. Not all of these templates apply, obviously. We're going through some mortise lock versions. But I thought it would be helpful to have that link there so that you can see what's happening on these holes. And this unit here for your 200, 250, 300, and 400 AD series locks pretty much matches what we're doing. Now, there is a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page that will allow you to review not only all of the Danjo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, as current as it is for what it's worth, and then the individual subsections of that catalog as well, meaning there's no need to go through the entire catalog if you just need to look at wraparound plates or latch protectors. And it's those two product lines that you might know Danjo or know of Danjo as a result of latch protectors or wraparound plates. But they make other items. Hinges, for instance, pivots, bolts and latches, push and pull plates, door stops and holders, so a variety of material. Let's switch back to the camera view. Now, where are you going to use this item? Well, clearly you have a Schlage AD series lock and you need to get it installed onto a door that's been compromised somehow. Whether it just be an errant function hole that's not going to be covered, or you've got some damage, someone's vandalized the door, maybe broke the door, kicked the door in, things of that nature. So this will allow you to very likely be able to continue to get useful service out of the door that's already there. And generally people will use wraparound plates for that exact purpose. The option of replacing the door or putting a reinforcer onto the door, one is low-hanging fruit, the other's not in many instances. Be mindful this is not a fire-rated product, so is technically not permissible for use on fire doors. Why? It's never been tested. That's number one. Danjo doesn't have any testing on their door reinforcing plates. So technically, if you're putting this onto a fire-rated door, this would not be compliant with that. The reason why, other than it not being tested, is that this represents an additional fuel load, and the door's not been tested with more material applied to it. Not that there would be any problem with this item, it's just never been tested, so they don't know. The screws I had mentioned earlier, a couple of small 832 flat undercut head nuts, screws, that will allow you to attach the latch bolt right to the edge of the plate with these insert nuts that are here. Then the latch bolt's fixed to the wraparound plate and all this will go on. You're also going to get a total of, it should only be 4, but I see that there are 6 in here. You only need 4 for this plate. 4 screws here, and then obviously over here, that will allow you to get the plate attached down to the door. This was indeed indicated as 1 3/4 thick. Right on. Okay, 1 3/4 thick. Now, fitting this onto the door, assuming that this is a wood door, you're going to want to dry fit the unit. Get the latch bolt installed. Well, I would probably first get the reinforcer down onto the door and make sure that you can get it fully compressed and down onto the door and that the door still operates. If there's any reason that the door is no longer working smoothly, that needs to be mitigated, whether it needs to be, you have to plane the door down to decrease its overall width, or maybe just plane the door down where this plate's going to fit and get this as flat and flush to the edge of the door as possible. That would be a very elegant option. And that may save you from having to, decrease the entire door width, because while this material is quite thin, it's not going to just be adding 32 thousandths to the thickness or the width of the door. It will have a net effect of taking up more space than that. What you might want to do is, if your door is already tight to begin with, you might want to mortar or route this area down and bring that down, 50 thousandths of an inch, dry fit that to see how it fits. You want this to be flush. You could do that with a router, most certainly. If you are still having trouble with it, you're going to want to get in there and make sure that all of the area where the latch bolt needs to reside is clear and can accept the plate to sit down. You might take the door off of the hinges, get it laid flat, get some pony clamps and clamp this down to the door so that you can drill your holes. So this is in the most ideal position when you go to install the piece of hardware. And getting the door to work correctly is really the goal of this, because you're not replacing the door. And why wouldn't you replace the door? Well, this is fairly easy, although they can be quite time consuming to install if you really want to exert as much energy to get the fit as ideal as possible. But replacing an unusual 5-panel door that was built, 58 years ago, you might say, yeah, it's not ideal. I don't want the wraparound plate, but this door is going to cost me $1,000, and then I have to find someone to install it. So this plate might just be the simple way to go. Okay. Rarely would I see this done for aesthetic purposes, although that's been done before, where someone just wants to change the look of what they're doing, and probably not with a 26 AD model, but other types of models or remodelers plates. People have used those for. The name Danjo is synonymous with, as I had said earlier, latch protectors and door reinforcing wraparound plates, but many other items, as I draw attention to that catalog again and the individual subsections. Nice quality people over at Danjo. I would definitely recommend that you familiarize yourself with their catalog. Any questions on the Danjo? This is their 26 AD, which, by the way, weighs 1.91 pound, at least it does in its box, with its screws, or any other Danjo product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please click subscribe as well, and even share the video with someone that you know. And if you have any questions for a future video, please send them our way and we will make every attempt to oblige. And thank you very much.